This page is the front cover of the Nintendo official magazine, showcasing a vibrant image of Luigi and highlighting a GameCube special. It promises news, previews, tips, and a look at Pokémon Stadium 2. The cover also advertises the magazine's price of £2.99 for the November issue, number 110, and mentions exclusive Cube news for Resident Evil. It's a classic cover that really captures the excitement around Nintendo's consoles. This page is a full-page advert for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone video game, launching on November 16, 2001, promising a magical adventure across multiple formats including PlayStation, Game Boy Advance, and PC CD-ROM. This page is the front cover of Nintendo official magazine, celebrating its status as the UK's biggest-selling Nintendo 64 and Nintendo magazine for November 2001. It features a fantastic group shot of the Team Nintendo editorial crew, including Tim, Barry, Tamsin, Dave, Nicola and Rich, all looking suitably chuffed to be part of the action. The cover also highlights a free GameCube special, a look at Pokémon Stadium 2, Resident Evil exclusive Cube news, and Wave Race for the GameCube. Plus, there's a cheeky mention of, "The Cube is here, and we've got the first play of Wave Race," giving us a sneak peek at what's inside. It's a classic glimpse into the golden era of Nintendo gaming, and these chaps clearly know their stuff. This page is the table of contents for the latest Nintendo official magazine, and it's packed with goodness. We've got a massive GameCube special, diving deep into the games you absolutely must play, the crucial GBA and GameCube link-up, and all the essential GameCube peripherals. Plus, they've got the full story on the GameCube's launch in Japan and beyond, with a first-ever playtest and all the info you need to know. On top of that, there's a cracking preview of Wave Race, Blue Storm, promising a thrilling ride on the water, and a look at the latest game news, featuring a whole host of upcoming titles like Breath of Fire, Crazy Taxi, Denki Blocks, ISS, NHL Hits 2002, No Rules, Simpsons Road Rage, Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarder, Tekken Advance, Mario Land 4, and WWF Road to WrestleMania. And for those feeling brave, there's a sneak peek at Resident Evil on page 72. It's looking like a must-buy issue for any self-respecting Nintendo fan. This page is a treasure trove of game reviews and previews. We kick off with reviews where Pokémon Stadium 2 gets a shout-out, promising, "Pokémon pals are back for one last awesome battlefest on your N64. Then there's Blagfest, where you can win Star Wars Episode 1 DVDs, and Red Hot Pokémon 3 videos. The Game Guides section teases an in-depth look at Pokémon Stadium 2 to help you win every time. The page also highlights Advance Wars for the GB Advance, described as one of the best war sims ever created. Final Fight 1 is noted for its classic arcade beat-em-up action. We also get a glimpse of Backtrack, a GBA corridor shooter. Plus, there's a look at Steven Gerrard's Total Soccer 2002, LEGO Racers 2, Lady Sia, and ESPN Final Round Golf 2002, promising Festival of Footy to racing fun. Finally, we have an advert for free Game Boy magazine, featuring The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, with a special 8-page review. It also mentions limited edition copies of Zelda Quests. Overall, a packed page for gamers. This page previews the upcoming GameCube title, Wave Race Blue Storm, touting it as a worthy sequel to the N64 original. The reviewer expresses excitement about the game's potential, highlighting that it plays as good as it looks, and can be counted on to define the future of the console. The screenshot shows a thrilling jet ski race in progress, with a clear indication of the in-game speed and lap information. It's definitely a title to watch out for, if you enjoy high-octane water sports action. This page is a full-page advertisement for Wave Race, Blue Storm on the GameCube. It features two characters on jet skis, one in the foreground, and another in the background, soaring over a splashy ocean. The text below reads, "If you're afraid of water, you'd better stop reading right now. This stunning GameCube racer is about to cause quite a splash." The game's title is prominently displayed in large black and white text. This page dives into the visual spectacle and gameplay mechanics of Wave Race, Blue Storm. The reviewer is clearly impressed, gushing about the lovely water effects and how they're a significant upgrade from the N64 version, describing the graphics as breathtaking. We're shown screenshots highlighting different environments, from serene waterscapes to a vibrant sunset. The gameplay section focuses on the core objective, navigating courses and correctly passing buoys, with a warning that missing them leads to a loss of turbo. There's also a mention of how the controls feel, with the 3D stick offering precise handling for those tighter turns, and the A and Z buttons providing acceleration and turbo boosts. It seems the developers have really nailed the feel of jet skiing, making it as satisfying as getting your hands on your own. This page features an article titled Hard Water and Rapids Rage, focusing on the jet ski game Wave Race, Blue Storm. It highlights the importance of mastering the controls, especially in dealing with the dynamic water conditions like tides and waves, which make each race unique. The reviewer stresses that opponents are tough and will race aggressively. There's also a mention of using the turbo boost effectively at the right time to navigate tricky sections. The page also includes a vibrant advertisement for Johnny Bravo Live in Tokyo, promoting a Cartoon Network event. This page dives into the aquatic action of Wave Race, Blue Storm, detailing some of the game's diverse racing environments. We get a closer look at the tranquil Ethnic Lagoon, a scenic track perfect for getting to grips with the controls, and the more challenging Southern Island, where shifting tides and obstacles keep you on your toes. Then there's the serene Aspen Lake, a welcome break from the rougher waters, and the urban city harbor, which throws in cargo ships and rain for good measure. The reviewer clearly appreciates the variety and how each location demands a slightly different approach to master. It's all about those silky smooth jet ski maneuvers. This page is a vibrant double-page spread featuring a large, energetic advertisement for new Ed, Edd n Eddy episodes on Cartoon Network. The cartoon characters are depicted in a dynamic and slightly chaotic scene, perfectly capturing the show's signature style. The text proudly announces new episodes in bold, eye-catching lettering, alongside the iconic Cartoon Network logo. The overall impression is one of fun and excitement, aimed squarely at fans of the beloved animated series. This page dives into the characters of Wave Race, Blue Storm, presenting us with 8 distinct races and their unique stats. We get a rundown on the likes of Akari Hayami, known for her good grip and speed but lacking in handling and acceleration, and Nigel Carver, a strong all-rounder with excellent stability, making him a great pick for beginners. Rob Haywood is highlighted for his fantastic handling and acceleration on fast courses, though his grip and stability are a bit shaky. Ayumi Stewart is presented as another strong all-rounder, even getting a cheeky nod for being better looking than Nigel, and a good choice for newcomers. Ricky Winterbourne is a speed demon once he hits his stride, but his poor handling makes him a challenge for those seeking a bit of difficulty. Ryota Hayami, a relative of Akari, boasts more evenly distributed skills, with above-average handling, stability, and acceleration putting him ahead of the pack. Finally, David Mariner, despite his bulk making him unstable, has superb handling and acceleration. The page also includes a screenshot showing racers navigating an icy course, with a tip that steering through icebergs is tough. It's a solid introduction to the roster, giving you a good idea of who to pick for your racing style. This page showcases the Tide is High feature for Wave Race, Blue Storm, highlighting how changing tides and new obstacles like icebergs and cargo containers affect gameplay on different courses such as Dolphin Park and City Harbor. It also teases an excellent multiplayer option for up to 4 players, promising that the game retains its speed and detail even in this mode. On the right, we see a vibrant advert for new Powerpuff Girls episodes on Cartoon Network. This page delves into the impressive weather effects in Wave Race, Blue Storm, detailing how clear days offer great visibility while rain and snow can significantly impact your view and control. It showcases gameplay on various courses, including a sunny day with excellent visibility and a snowy, challenging environment. The text highlights how planning your route is easy on a clear day, but the weather can change dramatically, making things much trickier. It also touches on unlocking new tracks through Championship mode, specifically mentioning Cool Ocean and Victory Gate, which are apparently inspired by Venice and Scottish Highlands respectively. The reviewer seems impressed by the visual fidelity of the water effects and the dynamic weather system, noting how these elements contribute to the game's challenge and immersion. This page showcases the stunning visuals of Wave Race, Blue Storm, with screenshots depicting thrilling jet ski action. We see intense races with fireworks in the background and clear blue skies, alongside more challenging courses with dense foliage and even a glimpse of an elephant. The reviewer is clearly impressed, noting the attention to detail and the sense of speed, stating it's a game that's truly addictive. They highlight the dynamic environments, from the open water with buoys to exotic locations featuring dolphins, killer whales and even a turtle. It sounds like Wave Race, Blue Storm is really delivering on the graphical front, making for an immersive and exciting experience. This page dives into the training mode of Wave Race, Blue Storm, a fantastic way to get to grips with the game's tricks. The reviewer is clearly chuffed with how you can learn everything from simple turns to rather elaborate aerial somersaults. They highlight that while these fancy maneuvers aren't strictly necessary for winning races, they certainly add a splash of style and are quite fun to master. It's a great idea to have a dedicated mode for honing your skills, especially with the helpful dolphin guides pointing out the next ramp. The screenshots show off the vibrant graphics and the sheer joy of pulling off these stunts, even the slightly ridiculous ones. This page is a breakdown of the Tricks and Stunts mode in Wave Race, Blue Storm. It explains how players can earn points by performing daring moves and passing through turbo rings. The reviewer praises the game's ability to teach a variety of tricks, from basic turns to impressive aerial stunts, noting that while not essential for winning, they greatly enhance the game's fun factor. The screenshots showcase the dynamic gameplay and the colorful environments, highlighting the thrill of mastering these high-flying maneuvers. There's also a small advert for Lady Sia on Game Boy Advance, accompanied by a catchy tagline about fighting evil and needing your help. This page is all about the How They Score guide, clearly laying out what scores mean from real rubbish for 044 to amazing game you must play for 90,100. They even have an awesome award for anything over 90, which is a nice touch. We've also got a look at what's new on the Nintendo 64, with Pokémon Stadium 2, and the Game Boy Advance, with titles like Advance Wars, Final Fight 1, and even Steven Gerrard's Total Soccer 2000. Plus, keep an eye out for LEGO Racers 2, ESPN Final Round Golf, and Lady Shia. It's a proper roundup of what's hot and what's not, with some of Nintendo's finest characters looking rather chuffed about it all. This page is a cracking review of Pokémon Stadium 2 for the Nintendo 64. It really highlights how the game is a must-have, especially with its new features, and the sheer beauty of the characters, promising to knock your socks off. The reviewer is clearly impressed with how the Pokémon world has been brought to life like never before, and the screenshots showing Suicune and the battle between Totodile and Squirtle really do look fantastic in glorious 3D. It's a real treat for any Pokémon fan, offering a deep dive into the stadium battles and minigames. This page dives deep into the mechanics and attractions of Pokémon Stadium 2. We're told that the game offers a lot to sink your teeth into, from the Battle Now option to create custom matches, to White City, a new theme park area that sounds like a virtual Disneyland for Pokémon trainers. There's also a mention of transferring Pokémon from your Game Boy adventures, which is a neat touch. The Team Tactics section gives us a glimpse into how to approach battles, with options for using your own Pokémon, rented ones, or pre-made teams for specific cup competitions. The reviewer is clearly impressed by the slick presentation and excellent 3D graphics, stating the game is very slick. The screenshots showcase the different battle arenas and the impressive character models, with a particular focus on Slowpoke looking rather unique. The Places to Go section details key areas within the game, including the stadium itself where the main tournament action happens, the Gym Leader Castle which houses 21 gym leaders, and the Pokémon Academy for testing your knowledge. Finally, the minigames area sounds like a fun diversion with 12 party games featuring your favorite Pokémon. It's a comprehensive look at what makes Pokémon Stadium 2 such a standout title. This page is a review of Pokémon Stadium 2, focusing on the new features and gameplay elements. It highlights the Gym Leader Castle as a significant challenge, requiring strategic Pokémon selection to progress. The reviewer is clearly impressed, noting the game's excellent 3D graphics and slick presentation. There's also a mention of official footage available via a Creedrom, which is a fantastic way to see the game in action. The page also includes a fun comic strip called Denki Blocks, which adds a light-hearted touch. It's a well-rounded look at what makes Pokémon Stadium 2 a must-play title. This page is a deep dive into Pokémon Stadium 2, comparing it to the original, and really digging into what's new and improved. We're treated to a visual feast with screenshots showcasing Pokémon battles, and the text explains that Stadium 2 boasts a whopping 251 Pokémon from Red, Gold and Silver, which is quite the upgrade. It also touches on the game modes, detailing the stadium battles and mentioning that there are now 12 minigames compared to the original's 9, including some hilarious multiplayer moments. The reviewer seems to be having a blast, particularly with the minigames, and highlights Furret's Frolic, Gutsy Golbat, Clear Cut, and Eager Eevee as some of the new additions to keep us entertained. It's clear the reviewer is impressed with the sheer volume of content and the nostalgic charm of these monster mashups. This page dives headfirst into the minigame championship of Pokémon Stadium 2, explaining that the goal is to win tokens by mastering various minigames. It mentions that winning 5 tokens takes around 10 minutes, and if a minigame ends in a draw, it's down to a trivia question, which sounds like a proper test of your Pokemon knowledge. We also get a peek at the Pokemon Academy, where players can test their mettle in a quiz. Over on the right, it's revealed that the transfer pack isn't included with Pokemon Stadium 2, so you'll have to fork out extra for one if you want to use your own Pokemon. The review concludes with a solid score of 91%, calling the game perfect for those who crave more monster magic, and a must-have for true Pokefans. There's also a mention of Denki Blocks, which seems to be a puzzle game, available for Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. This page is a glowing review of Advance Wars for the Game Boy Advance, giving it the coveted Awesome Award. The reviewer is thoroughly impressed, calling it an insanely playable war strategy game, and one of the most original titles on the system. They highlight the deep and engaging gameplay, the sheer value for money, and the fact that it's tough as nails. The game offers 2 single-player modes, Campaign and War Room, with a staggering 114 battle scenarios to conquer, plus more unlockable ones. The visuals are praised as pure class, and the game's strategic depth is lauded, especially with the variety of commanding officers and their unique abilities. The training mode is particularly commended for its thoroughness, guiding players through the intricacies of war. Even the cutscenes are described as spot on. It's clear the reviewer thinks this is a must-have for any GBA owner. This page delves into the multiplayer and strategic elements of Advance Wars, highlighting its versatility. It showcases the playing together modes, including Versus Mode, which allows up to 4 players to battle using just one Game Boy Advance and cartridge, a truly remarkable feat of sharing. The page also touches upon the turn-based nature of the game, emphasizing how players issue all their unit orders at once. We're treated to in-game screenshots demonstrating gameplay, with callouts explaining how highlighted squares indicate movement range and red squares show firing range. The review praises the game's strategic depth and the intel menu for providing vital information on enemy strengths and weaknesses. Finally, it confirms Advance Wars' massive replayability and overall excellence, awarding it a fantastic 91% and the awesome accolade, reiterating the previous page's glowing praise. This page reviews Final Fight 1 for the Game Boy Advance, and it sounds like a proper punch-up. The reviewer is impressed, stating the enemies are never-ending, and the fighting is fierce, though they do find the street punks frankly ridiculous. We get a good look at the classic arcade gameplay, with screenshots showing off the iconic characters like Cody and Mike Hager in action. The game's plot involves rescuing Mayor Hager's daughter Jessica from the Mad Gear Gang, which is pretty standard fare for the genre. Apparently the game is a faithful port, described as close to the arcade as you can possibly get, and it's a decent-looking game for the GBA. The review also highlights that there are 3 playable characters, each with their own special moves, and warns that using them depletes your health. Fair enough. It's a real no-brainer for fans of brawlers, scoring a solid 84%. This page is a fantastic advert for Pokemon the Movie 3, Spell of the Unknown, urging everyone to catch it on video and DVD. It even throws in a free, special edition Unknown J trading card game card with purchases, which is rather a nice bonus, isn't it? We also see a Pikachu's Winter Vacation video being bundled in, so it's a proper Pokemon bonanza. This page is a review of Backtrack for the Game Boy Advance, a first-person shooter that's surprisingly capable for the handheld. The reviewer is impressed by the game's visuals and action, comparing it to Doom, and notes that it's hard not to be impressed by what's been achieved, even if the distant objects can be a bit tough on the eyes. The game features a mission to rescue humans from cyborgs on a moon base, battling through creepy locations and floating sentries. The reviewer praises the intense gun battles and colorful explosions, but finds the playing experience a bit sterile with repetitive gameplay, ultimately giving it a score of 86%. This page features a vibrant advert for the Harry Potter trading card game. It invites players to test their wizardry skills and use their favorite spells and creatures. The advert encourages challenging friends to a game and promotes visiting harrypotter.com and wizards.com for more information. This page delves into Steven Gerrard's Total Soccer 2002 for the Game Boy Advance. The review highlights that the game harks back to a simpler era of football games, with overhead views and minimal player detail. It praises the inclusion of major European teams and international outfits, allowing players to compete in domestic leagues or even design their own. The reviewer notes that while the game isn't pushing the gribber's limits, it offers solid gameplay. The sound design, however, is described as a bit of a letdown, with an annoying theme tune and unconvincing ball sounds. Despite these minor gripes, the game is deemed moderately playable, earning a score of 77%. It seems like a decent option for those seeking a straightforward football simulation on the go. This page features a review of LEGO Racers 2 and ESPN Final Round Golf 2002 for the Game Boy Advance, alongside a preview of Lady Sia. LEGO Racers 2 is described as a fun, kiddie-friendly kart racer, where you race as a galactic racing champion, upgrading your kart to face rivals like Rocket Racer. The gameplay is said to be simple and enjoyable, making it a good choice for younger players, and it scores a respectable 80%. ESPN Final Round Golf 2002 is presented as a more relaxed golfing experience. It offers easy gameplay and a variety of fictional golfers to choose from, with different modes. While it's a decent-looking game, it's noted as not being particularly original, but the Link mode does help. It gets a score of 75%. The preview for Lady Sia introduces a warrior princess who must save her homeland from evil beasts. It highlights that the game is a side-scrolling platformer with magic and sword combat, and the reviewer seems impressed, calling Lady Sia definitely one to watch on your GBA. The game is described as having tough bosses, but Lady Sia is more than capable of handling them. This page is the front cover of the GBA Collector's Edition 01, featuring an astronaut on the moon holding a Game Boy Advance. The cover boldly declares the Ultimate Game Boy Advance Guide and the Essential Collector's Guide for all intelligent lifeforms. It looks like a serious publication for dedicated GBA fans, and with that £4.99 price tag, it's a bargain for interstellar gaming knowledge. The next page is a fantastic full-page advert for the Awesome Collection, featuring the Nintendo 64's Perfect Dark and other iconic N64 cartridges. It promises games that are completely tested by experts and are must-haves. This page dives into some absolute classics of the Nintendo 64 era. First up, we have Banjo-Kazooie, a truly breathtaking adventure platformer that's as much about exploration as it is about skill. The reviewer is particularly impressed by the final battle with Gruntilda, calling it a fine example of Rare's amazing originality. Next, Banjo-Tooie gets a nod for its huge worlds and improved camera angles, promising a non-stop procession of characters and puzzles. Then it's time for some karting action with Diddy Kong Racing. This game is praised for its unbelievably cute and supremely playable nature, with the multiplayer mode being a particular highlight, even compared favorably to Mario Kart 64. The reviewer notes how the graphics look amazing, with 4 people on screen. Beetle Adventure Racing is up next, a seriously fun racer with great tracks and realistic handling, making it a top-quality racer. Conker's Bad Fur Day is also featured, described as the rudest, lewdest and downright funniest game we've ever seen on the N64, and the reviewer highlights its toilet humor and amazing kung fu acrobatics. Finally, we get a look at some Nintendo 64 controllers. The official N64 controller from Nintendo is deemed the best by a mile, due to its durable 3D stick and buttons, making it the best money can buy. The Logic 364 controller is also reviewed positively for its looks and comfortable design, playing almost as good as it looks. This page serves up a veritable feast of Nintendo 64 gaming goodness. We start with Duke Nukem 0 Hour, a solid third-person shooter that thankfully avoids the usual clichés. For racing fans, F1 racing is a competent effort that captures the thrill of Formula 1, though its sequel, F1 World Grand Prix 2, is deemed the more polished experience with better car models and track details. The hardcore wrestling action of ECW Hardcore Revolution is highlighted for its brutal, no-holds-barred approach, and Excitebike 64 is lauded for its addictive motorbike racing and track editor. FIFA 99 gets a mention as a top-tier football game, while F-Zero X is praised for its blisteringly fast zero-gravity racing. The page also showcases some N64 accessories, the Game Master G64 controller, which looks good but plays okay, and the Blaze HyperPad Plus, a comfortable controller with extra features though its buttons can be a bit sticky. The Trilogy 64 controller also makes an appearance, offering good value for money. This page is a fantastic showcase of some truly classic Nintendo 64 titles. We kick off with GoldenEye 007, which is hailed as the finest first-person shooter ever, offering thrilling single-player and intense 4-player action. Following that, we dive into Lilat Wars, a superb space shooter with explosive action and memorable boss battles. Next up is ISS 98, a football game lauded for its stunning graphics and addictive gameplay that will have you hooked. Then there's International Track and Field, a brilliant collection of athletic events that's perfect for settling scores with friends. Jet Force Gemini is also featured, a captivating action-adventure with red-hot gunplay and plenty of levels to explore. On the lighter side, Mario Kart 64 is celebrated as the ultimate multiplayer racing game, offering endless fun with its quirky characters and addictive gameplay. Mario Golf is also a highlight, praised for its easy-to-learn but hard-to-master gameplay, packed with secret courses and characters. Finally, Mario Tennis is presented as a fun-filled quirky tennis game, perfect for playing with mates. The page also dedicates a section to essential N64 accessories, the Rumble Pack, and the rechargeable Jolt Pack, both highly recommended for enhancing the gaming experience. This page is a vibrant celebration of Nintendo 64 gaming, featuring a trio of party-pleasing titles and a couple of essential accessories. We begin with Mario Party 2, which is described as the ultimate party game, perfect for hooking up with mates for some wild minigame action. The reviewer praises its variety and originality, stating that it makes Monopoly look like a wet Sunday afternoon. Next, we're treated to Mickey's Speedway USA, a karting tour, starring the iconic mouse that's pure eye candy with killer gameplay. The reviewer notes that its hard courses are some of the toughest ever seen, which is a bold claim indeed. Moving on, Mortal Kombat 4 is presented as a real fight fest, an excellent brawler that, despite its dated looks, offers deadly weapons, fast and furious moves, and tons of the good stuff. Finally, the page rounds off with a look at the G64 Tremor and Memory Pack, and the Shockwave Rumble Pack, accessories that are clearly designed to inject more life into your gaming sessions, though one certainly needs a mortgage for a decent Rumble experience. This page dives into some fantastic N64 titles, starting with Pokémon Stadium, a must-have for any Pokémon fan looking to take their critters into glorious 3D battles. It's hailed as an essential purchase, especially with the transfer pack. Then we have Jet Force Gemini, which sounds like a massive adventure with endless replayability and cool characters. The reviewer is clearly impressed, calling the puzzles excellent. Next up is Pokémon Puzzle League, described as a brilliant puzzle game that's addictive whether you're playing solo or with friends, offering a real brain-melting strategic experience in multiplayer. Beetle Adventure Racing promises arcade thrills with realistic handling, and apparently, there are some sneaky shortcuts to find. We also get a peek at Premier Manager 64, a football management sim that's still addictive, even if it's a bit dated, with the reviewer particularly enjoying the satisfaction of leading their team to victory. Finally, Quake 2 is presented as a fast-paced fragfest, with plenty of weapons and jumpy moments, a real triumph graphically. The page also highlights some essential accessories, a 256K Nintendo memory card, praised for its reliability and value, and an 8MB memory card, offering massive saving space for your cash. This page features a collection of N64 games that are sure to keep you entertained. We've got Rayman 2, a gorgeous platformer with magical moments, and Star Wars Rogue Squadron, which lets you pilot iconic ships in thrilling missions. Resident Evil 2 is a terrifying horror experience that's not for the faint-hearted, and Ridge Racer 64 offers arcade racing action with plenty of power slides. For something a bit different, Rocket Robot on Wheels is a charming platformer with a unique premise, while South Park is a crude but hilarious take on the popular animated series. We also take a look at some essential N64 accessories, a 1MB Joytech memory card for your saves, and a 256K GameStar memory card, both offering great value. This page dives into some classic Nintendo 64 titles, starting with South Park Rally. It's a kart racer that chucks the rulebook out the window for some chaotic fun, with plenty of South Park's trademark humor. Next up is 1080 Degrees Snowboarding, a game that truly captures the thrill of hitting the slopes with its slick graphics and addictive gameplay. Then we get to Star Wars Episode 1, Racer, a surprisingly good tie-in that lets you experience the podracing action from the film, and it's genuinely fast and exhilarating. Following that is Super Mario 64, which, let's be honest, redefined platforming as we know it and is still an absolute joy to play. After that it's Super Smash Bros., a chaotic brawler that's perfect for multiplayer madness. The page also reviews Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, a brutal dinosaur slaying fest that's still a blast, and Tony Hawk Skateboarding, which perfectly captures the Oligrin kickflip lifestyle. Finally, we're treated to a look at some N64 accessories that promise to enhance your gaming experience. The steering wheels, specifically the Top Drive Plus, and the Formula Race Pro. They offer a more immersive way to play those racing titles, and are definitely worth considering if you want to feel the tarmac beneath your virtual tires. This page features a guide to some legendary Nintendo 64 titles, kicking off with Turok Rage Wars, a fragfest that's perfect for a multiplayer session with its savage arenas. Next up is Twine, a solid first-person shooter based on the Bond film, offering gorgeous locations and some top-notch missions. Then we have WWF Attitude, a wrestling sim, packed with over-the-top action, and plenty of wrestlers to choose from. WWF No Mercy follows, praised for its authentic representation of wrestling superstars and its fantastic multiplayer experience. On the right we get a breakdown of the iconic character Wario, delving into his name's origin and his appearances across various Mario titles, including a mention of his own Game Boy Color series. The page also showcases some gaming accessories for the Nintendo 64, the Shock 2 steering wheel, the version 3 FX racing wheel, and the Race 64 Compact, all promising to enhance your racing game experience. It's a jam-packed page for any N64 enthusiast. The next page reviews Zelda Majora's Mask and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, alongside Ocarina of Time. Zelda Majora's Mask is praised for its time-traveling adventure, and the Dooku Scrub Mask Challenge. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is highlighted as a top GBA title, with great graphics and unlockable content. Ocarina of Time is lauded as a near-perfect RPG, with the reviewer particularly enjoying Link's transformation into an adult. The page also includes a sales chart of top games, with Conker's Bad Fur Day at number 1, and a list of company contacts. This page is a massive advertisement for Nintendo prizes and ringtones. It's a veritable smorgasbord of goodies, from Game Boy Advance consoles and Neo Geo Pokémon cards to a PlayStation and even a PS2. You can win your very own laptop computer, WWF Rebellion tickets, and a Nokia 8210, all by simply calling a premium rate number, of course. There's also a huge list of ringtones to download, featuring everything from pop hits to TV themes. And if that's not enough, you can create your own logo, or get Nintendo cheats. It's a true 90s gamer's paradise, packed with opportunities to win big and customize your phone. This page is a massive, eye-catching advert for Disney's Atlantis, the lost empire for Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. It prominently features Milo Thatch, the film's protagonist, clutching the Atlantean journal, and showcases the game's premise of taking the mystery and adventure on the go. The advert also highlights the Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color branding, along with Take-Two's involvement. It's a bold, colorful promotion that really sells the excitement of bringing the Atlantis adventure to your handheld. This page is a spectacular full-page advert for the Nintendo GameCube, showcasing the sleek, purple console in all its glory. The headline boldly proclaims GameCube in a massive, vibrant purple font, with 12-page nom-special, packed with essential info, promising a deep dive into everything the revolutionary console has to offer. Below the smaller text reads, all the new games GBA link-up add-ons revealed inside the cube, hinting at exciting new features and content. It's a tantalizing glimpse into the future of gaming, all wrapped up in a stylish package. This page features a vibrant spread of Nintendo GameCube consoles in various colors: purple, pink, black, beige and silver. Each console is prominently displayed, highlighting their sleek design and the iconic handle. The text feature is visible at the top left, indicating this is a showcase of the console's appeal and perhaps its upcoming capabilities. It's a visual feast for gamers eager to get their hands on the next generation of Nintendo gaming. This page is a fantastic introduction to the Nintendo GameCube, showcasing its arrival with the headline, Box of Delights. We're treated to a glimpse of the sleek pink and silver GameCube consoles, looking as fresh as ever. It highlights that Nintendo's answer to the console war has landed in Japan and is heading our way in spring 2002, with the price still to be confirmed. The text spills the beans on what to expect, mentioning the thrill of helping Luigi catch ghosts, experiencing realistic water effects, and the chance to play legendary titles like Zelda and Mario, plus the next Resident Evil, all exclusive to the GameCube. They've even got the lowdown on the games, and have put questions to Nintendo's top brass. It sounds like the GameCube is going to be a truly revolutionary machine, offering online play with the broadband adapter and even secondary controller support with the Game Boy Advance. This is definitely one to keep an eye on. The future of gaming is looking very bright indeed. This page announces the GameCube's arrival in Japan, hitting the streets on September 14th, and poised to conquer the world. It details the console's impressive Japanese launch, selling a staggering 300,000 units in just 3 days. Luigi's Mansion, Super Monkey Ball, and Wave Race Blue Storm are highlighted as top launch titles, with Luigi's Mansion and Super Monkey Ball selling over 360,000 combined. The page also teases upcoming GameCube games, promising more exciting sports simulations, with NBA Courtside 2002 and Virtua Striker 3 being showcased with screenshots. This page focuses on the GameCube's impending launch. Priced at $199, it arrives on November 18th with a solid lineup of games. The article mentions that UK-bought games won't work with consoles, which could prove costly if you're importing. A list of launch titles includes All-Star Baseball 2002, Batman Dark Tomorrow, Crazy Taxi, Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2, Extreme G3, Luigi's Mansion, Madden NFL 2002, NFL Quarterback Club 2002, NHL Hits 2002, SSX Tricky, Star Wars Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2, Super Monkey Ball, The Simpsons Road Rage, Universal Studios and Wave Race Blue Storm. Over in Europe, Nintendo is still deciding on the launch date, but it's expected after the OS release, with a possible spring 2002 window. The page also features previews of 3 upcoming games. 1080 Degrees Snowboarding 2 looks to be a fantastic sequel with challenging courses and new tricks. FIFA 2002 is set to build on its success with improved passing and international teams. Finally, Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2 promises extreme sports action with over 1,500 tricks and 10-player multiplayer. The next page dives deep into the GameCube, showcasing its design and hinting at its capabilities. We get a glimpse of its compact form factor, emphasizing its sophisticated look and portability with a built-in handle. The article also teases its connectivity features, specifically the Game Boy Advance link-up, which will allow the GBA to act as a secondary controller in some games. On the gaming front, it highlights the excitement for Mario Sunshine and Zelda GameCube, with the latter being praised for its eye-catching animation style, reminiscent of Disney. The console is positioned as the ultimate machine for action-adventure titles, with the reviewer confidently stating that GameCube exclusives will be the games to play next year. It also touches upon the online capabilities, mentioning future modem and broadband adapters. This page is an absolute treat for any Legend of Zelda fan. We're diving headfirst into a Zelda Blagfest, and it's packed with all the good stuff. Featured prominently is Link, looking as heroic as ever, ready for action. We've got a peek at The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, and another Oracle game, hinting at some epic quests on the horizon. The cover screams, RPG Gaming Gold busted open on your GB color, and the free Special Collector's Edition Minimag promises even more Zelda goodness. It's clear this issue is all about celebrating one of gaming's most beloved franchises on the Game Boy Color. This page is a fantastic review of The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons for the Game Boy Color. It scores the game a whopping 90,100, labeling it an amazing game you must play, which is high praise indeed. We get a glimpse of Link facing off against Din, the Oracle of Seasons, and it sets the scene for an epic quest to save the land from the clutches of Onox, the General of Darkness. The review highlights the game's RPG elements, calling it Mammoth GB Color RPG Quest, and the awesome award sticker confirms its stellar quality. It also mentions The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages on the same page, showing this issue is a double dose of Hyrule goodness. This page is a sensational preview of The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons for the Game Boy Color, boasting a massive 9100th score and an amazing game you must play. Tag. It features Link heroically facing off against Din, the Oracle of Seasons, setting the stage for an epic adventure. The reviewer is clearly impressed, calling it a Mammoth GB Color RPG Quest, and awarding it an awesome sticker, which is no small feat. We also get a peek at Oracle of Ages, meaning this issue is a double dose of Hyrulean goodness. This is one of those pages that makes you want to dust off your Game Boy Color immediately. The Rod of Seasons is central to success in The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, allowing players to manipulate the climate and unlock new areas like frozen lakes for skating hidden within the Subrosian world. Beyond the rod, the game excels in its details. Villagers offer crucial clues and guidance, and the shop provides essential resources. The game boasts a stunning soundtrack and high-quality sound effects that enhance each location's atmosphere. Its intuitive item management system allows quick access to belongings, even mid-cutscene or battle, providing a strategic advantage. Collected items remain useful throughout the entire game, emphasizing the importance of remembering their functions. Well-designed inventory screens, particularly highlighting the early game importance of the sword and boomerang, contribute to a smooth and engaging experience. This page reviews The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, highlighting its perfect puzzles that rely on pushing, pulling, and defeating enemies, with a mention of a dance competition in Subrosia for a boomerang. It also praises the boss battles for their variety and challenge, suggesting players find weak points. The game's dungeon quest is described as progressive, with sub-bosses and main bosses guarding essential items like the dungeon map. The review touches on the usefulness of items, the importance of learning their functions, and the map's utility. The overall assessment is highly positive, awarding a score 95%. This page dives into the Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages, calling it the second part of a double whammy of Zelda goodness. We get a glimpse into the story, where Link finds himself in Labrina and is tricked by the villain Varen, who's aiming to plunge the world into darkness by building a massive tower. Link's mission, as the reviewer explains, is to travel through time to thwart Varan's dastardly plan and save Nayru. The page also features some rather colourful screenshots of the gameplay, showing off Link's adventures in his familiar top-down perspective. The overall sentiment is that this game, much like its predecessor Oracle of Seasons, nails the classic Zelda GBC look and feel, offering a dark and menacing adventure. This page is a glowing review for The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages on Game Boy Color. It features a fantastic illustration of Link and Nayru, with Link looking ready for action, harp in hand. The reviewer is clearly impressed, highlighting the game's time-traveling mechanics and its role in the double whammy of Zelda titles. It truly captures that classic Zelda charm with a darker, more menacing atmosphere, a must-play for any fan of the series. This page delves into the core mechanics of The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages, focusing on the importance of the harp and the introduction to Rock's Feather. The reviewer highlights how the harp is the key to time travel, allowing players to navigate between the past and present, opening up new areas and opportunities. They also praise Rock's Feather as a vital item for exploration, enabling Link to jump over gaps and traverse platforms, adding a new dimension to the gameplay. The text touches on Crescent Island and its inhabitants, the Tokay lizards, who apparently have a penchant for stealing your hard-earned rupees and items, requiring some clever bargaining. The sound design is also noted, with the music and effects being compared favorably to its sibling title, Oracle of Seasons. It's clear the reviewer is impressed with how these elements contribute to the overall experience, making for a truly engaging adventure. This page dives into the boss battles and the nifty ring system in The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages. Apparently you'll need more than just your trusty wooden sword for some of these chaps, with the review suggesting a bit more cunning and maybe a bomb or two. It also highlights the importance of collecting rings, which offer various powers, but you'll need to get them appraised by Vazu for a fee of 20 rupees. The reviewer seems pretty chuffed about the variety of rings and how they'll keep you going. Plus, linking up with another Game Boy Color can unlock even more secrets, which is always a bonus for us completionists. The overall score of 95% suggests this is a must-have. This page is a brilliant guide to conquering the bosses in both The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. It tackles those notoriously tricky encounters, like the boss in the Dancing Dragon dungeon and the one in the Mermaid's Cave, offering sage advice on which weapons and tactics to employ. There's also a handy section on past links, pointing you to previous issues for more Zelda goodness. The We Said box features a rather fitting quote about Link's ageless appeal. Overall, it's a fantastic resource for any adventurer facing down those tough challenges, a true testament to why these games are legendary. This page is all about brain-bending puzzles in the Legend of Zelda series, specifically Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. We've got a question about a spinning cube creature in the Wing Dungeon, and the answer involves precise bomb throws when its red face appears. Timing is everything. There's also advice for the Moonlit Grotto Witch, suggesting the seed shooter, and a bit of wall-bouncing trickery. Then we move on to the final battle with Ganon in Oracle of Seasons, where you'll need to master your shield and sword attacks, and remember to avoid his lethal energy. Finally, we tackle the boss in the Ancient Tomb in Oracle of Ages, who's a bit of a shapeshifter, so you'll want to use your wits and the Power Glove to bounce him off. Don't forget to grab that heart piece afterwards. This page is packed with handy tips for tackling some of the trickiest puzzles in The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. We've got a solution for a tile puzzle in the Skull Dungeon, guiding you along a specific path with the switch hook to reach a treasure chest. Then, we dive into the ancient ruins in Oracle of Seasons, explaining how to use Moosh the Bear to cross gaps and help out some builders. It seems these games really like their quirky puzzles and helpful companions. This page is all about perplexing puzzles from the Legend of Zelda games on Game Boy Color. we've got a helpful cue and a section tackling some of those head-scratchers. First up, a player is stranded on Crescent Island and their weapons are gone, with the culprit being decay lizards. The tip? Head back to where you found your flippers, dive into the water, and you'll find a hidden cave with your lost item. Next, someone is in the Sword and Shield dungeon in Oracle of Ages, stuck on an ice puzzle with some blocks. The solution involves a specific sequence of pushing blocks: right, middle, up, then upper right, and finally hitting the cube you previously pushed. It seems like a real brain teaser. There's also a pointer to more ice block puzzle tips for Oracle of Seasons, hinting at a particularly challenging puzzle that requires following a specific method to move blocks on the ice. Finally, we have a large, imposing boss character illustration that looks like it means business. This page is a gamer's best friend when you're stuck and need a little nudge in the right direction. This page offers some excellent general tips for the Legend of Zelda games on Game Boy Color, focusing on the trading sequence and a tricky shop access. We're treated to a colorful illustration of what looks like the Great Fairy, harp in hand, but the real value here is in the practical advice. The main highlight is the Noble Sword trading chart, which, despite the mention of skipping data, seems to lay out the rather involved trading sequence for obtaining the Noble Sword. It details giving the Poe clock to the postman, the stationery to the hand in the house east of the postman's home, and so on. It's quite the undertaking to get that sword. We also get an answer to a question about a locked room in a shop in Lina City in Oracle of Ages. The solution involves warping to the past, playing the tune of Currents, and then heading downstairs to snag some goodies like a level 2 ring box and a gacha seed. Sounds simple enough when you know, doesn't it? This page is a great little guide for those who find themselves a bit lost in the world of Holodrum or Labrina. This page offers some cracking general boss tactics for the Legend of Zelda games on Game Boy Color. It's packed with useful advice, like remembering that the main item you pick up in a dungeon usually plays a major role against the boss, and to look for soft spots or openings to strike. They also touch on the importance of owl statues for clues, which is rather handy. On the tips and tricks side, we've got a question answered about a witch on a broomstick dropping goodie bags after you've defeated 30 enemies. Apparently, it's worth scrambling for those items. Another question discusses a rumor about Oracle of Ages having extra features when played on a Game Boy Advance, with the reviewer confirming that indeed, there's a special shop that unlocks. All in all, a very helpful page for any aspiring adventurer. This page is all about the Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, and you can win a copy of Oracle of Seasons. We've got the latest from the Blagfest, with the headline proclaiming that you've read the reviews and seen the screens, now you want the games. This month, they've managed to bag 3 copies of the limited edition Oracle titles to give away. To be in with a chance of winning, you need to answer the question: where is the Rod of Seasons hidden? The options are A. The Temple of Seasons, B. The Hall of Seasons, or C. Link's bedroom. The closing date for entries is the 8th of November. The page also includes instructions on how to enter, which involves writing your answer and details on a postcard and posting it to the magazine. It's a fantastic opportunity for any Zelda fan. This page takes a look at the Nintendo GameCube, detailing its colors, discs, loading times, and some of its launch titles. You can expect the console to arrive in various colors, including the indigo color seen here, with the US launch on November 18th, featuring jet black and orange spice versions. The GameCube uses discs that hold up to 1.5 gigabytes of data, a massive leap from the 64 megabytes of the N64, and these discs also feature a unique inner curve to prevent piracy. When it comes to loading times, the demonstrated titles like Luigi's Mansion showed no annoying holdups, making for a much smoother experience. The page also highlights a couple of highly anticipated launch titles. Luigi's Mansion is described as a classic cartoon jaunt, with gorgeous lighting and dazzling effects showcasing the console's power. Star Fox Adventures is also mentioned, featuring the heroic Star Fox crew and adding new characters like Prince Tricky to the mix. Lastly, Resident Evil fans can rejoice as remakes of Resident Evil 1 and 2, as well as Code Veronica, are coming to GameCube, with Resident Evil 4 also exclusive to the system. It sounds like the GameCube is set to be a serious contender in the console wars. This page delves into the revolutionary GameCube controller, hyping up Nintendo's latest offering. It really does look like a marvel of design, with its unique shape and placement of buttons, promising unprecedented levels of control. The article talks about the controller's indigo color and mentions its packaging with Japanese GameCubes, retailing at $35 in the US. It also touches on the innovative shoulder buttons that offer a new digital click feature for enhanced gameplay, which sounds like it could really change how we play. We get a glimpse of the controller with its iconic layout, including the much-loved D-pad and the A, B, X and Y buttons. Below this, we're treated to sneak peeks of some killer titles. First up is Mario Kart, with a tantalizing mention of a short movie and the sheer excitement of kart racing with Mario and the gang, leaving us utterly speechless. Then there's Donkey Kong Racing, being developed by Rare, promising a menagerie of creatures to race with, even including training them up. Sounds rather wild. It's clear the GameCube is shaping up to be a powerhouse, and the controller looks set to be the perfect gateway to all this gaming goodness. This page showcases some exciting GameCube accessories and upcoming titles. We get a look at the Wavebird wireless controller, promising uninterrupted gameplay up to 30 feet away. Then there's the add-on extras section, highlighting the memory card S9, modem adapter for online play, and the SD memory card adapter, which will allow for larger storage. The page also gives us a peek at some anticipated games: SSX Tricky, Wave Race Blue Storm, and Extreme G3, each promising thrilling gameplay and immersive experiences. It's clear Nintendo is gearing up for a big year with the GameCube. This page is all about connecting your Game Boy Advance to the GameCube for some rather unique gaming experiences, and also a look at some upcoming GameCube titles. We've got Koro Koro Kirby, which lets you control Kirby using the Greber's tilt sensor, displayed on your TV via the GameCube. It looks like a rather clever way to play, especially when you're navigating those twisty courses. Just don't fall off. Then we dive into Pikmin, Shigeru Miyamoto's latest creation. It's a charming world of flora and fauna, where you command cute Pikmin to find your crashed spaceship parts. Sounds delightfully addictive, if a little strange. Finally, we get a glimpse of Super Monkey Ball, a frantic arcade puzzler. You guide a monkey in a ball, grabbing bananas and trying to reach the finish line. But watch out, those courses can be tricky. Overall, it seems the GameCube is shaping up to have a fantastic lineup of games for the coming months, catering to all sorts of tastes, from cute and quirky to outright manic. This page showcases some exciting upcoming GameCube titles. We start with Sonic Advance, highlighting its connectivity with the GameCube version of Sonic Adventure 2. It's pretty neat how you can find and raise chaos creatures in the GBA game and then use them in Sonic Adventure 2 on the big screen. Next up, we have Animal Forest Plus, a game that lets you customize your experience by changing the look of the game, including signs and landscape textures, all through your GBA connection. It sounds like a wonderfully relaxing way to play, and you can even take your character on a boat trip to a secret island. The page also gives us a peek at Super Smash Bros. Melee, promising all your favorite Nintendo characters battling it out in classic backdrops. And then there's Disney's Mickey, which looks to be a charming adventure, with gorgeous cartoon worlds, a treat for any Disney fan. Finally, Eternal Darkness is teased as a chilling psychological horror experience, where you'll be battling your own mind. It seems like the GameCube is really getting a diverse and exciting library of games. This page is all about getting your opinions on the GameCube. There's a big Your Shout feature, asking for your thoughts on the console, which by the way isn't hitting the UK until spring next year. So if you've got strong feelings about it, you can fill out the form and send it in. They'll even print some of your answers in a future issue, and the best ones could win a prize. The form includes spaces for your name, age, town, and to list the 3 GameCube titles you want most, along with why. It's a great chance to make your voice heard, and maybe snag some freebies. This page is a bold advertisement for computerandvideogames.com, promising a wealth of gaming information. It highlights the site as the essential resource for all Nintendo gamers, boasting 3,000 reviews, 26,000 cheats, cutting-edge news, 12 million player rankings, exclusive interviews, 500,000 users, and 40 formats. The collage of game screenshots showcases a vibrant mix of classic and contemporary titles, featuring characters like Mario, Luigi, Sonic, Donkey Kong, and Crash Bandicoot, alongside glimpses of sports games and a Jurassic Park scene. It's a veritable smorgasbord of gaming goodness designed to get you hooked. This page showcases a fantastic roundup of official tips for a variety of Nintendo titles, with a particular spotlight on Pokémon Stadium 2. We're treated to some essential advice for mastering the game, including how to rent a Celebi, and some rather clever Pokémon renaming tricks that apparently alter their color. The page also dips into Mario Kart 64, Super Circuit, Paper Mario, and GT Advance, offering a quick guide to what's hot and where to find it. There's a bit of a prompt to send in your high scores too, so if you're a gaming guru, they want to hear from you. This page is all about giving you the edge in some classic Nintendo games. We've got the lowdown on N64 controller icons, making sure you know your L's from your RS and your C buttons from your A and B. Then, it's over to the Game Boy Advance with its own set of controller icons. The real meat of the page though is the tips for Paper Mario and Mario Kart Super Circuit. For Paper Mario, it's all about grabbing those extra goodies and dealing with Bowser's goons. The reviewer clearly thinks Paper Mario is a massive game, packed with challenges and charming graphics despite its flat characters. Then there's Mario Kart Super Circuit, lauded as one of the best races ever, now portable. The page highlights the fact that all the circuits from the Super NES version are included, plus secret tracks for that extra bit of replayability. It's a solid tip sheet for anyone looking to get ahead in these beloved titles. This page dives into some fantastic Game Boy Advance titles, offering up some essential tips for players. We've got a section dedicated to Mario Kart Super Circuit, featuring a Mario Kart Super Circuit tip on getting an extra boost. Then, it transitions to Super Mario Advance with tips on Yoshi Mode and Hearts Trick. Following that, there's a quick mention of Tony Hawk's 2 with a code to unlock everything. Finally, GT Advanced Championship Racing gets a spotlight with a tip for Extra Mode 1. On the other side of the page, we're treated to some Pokemon Stadium tips, covering how to beat various trainers like Lorelei, Bruno and Agatha, with advice on building the best Pokemon squad. It's a solid offering for GBA owners looking to master these titles. This page highlights the hugely popular Wave Race 64, with the reviewer suggesting the Port Blue course is one of the trickiest but most rewarding, especially on its hard difficulty setting. They mention the choppy water and tight turns that require precise control to navigate. Elsewhere, there's a massive list of over 10,000 cheats and tips for a huge variety of games, covering everything from Army Men to Zelda, with a particular focus on N64 titles. The page also includes a call to action for readers to send in their own tips and requests for the magazine. This page is all about reader tips and tricks, with a special focus on Banjo-Kazooie and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. We've got a great tip for an easy health boost in Banjo-Kazooie, where you can reunite the duo to top up your health bar. Over on the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 side, there's a fantastic cheat to rack up over 1,000,000 points by grinding the lip of the pool on Skate Street. Plus, we've got a reader-submitted tip for unlocking secret races in Konami Crazy Racers, with a shout-out to Ivan Radford for his winning entry. It's a real treat for all you gamers out there. This page is your go-to for reader-submitted gaming wisdom. We've got a cracking solution for those stumped by Wizpig in Diddy Kong Racing, complete with helpful screenshots to guide you through the tricky sections. Fancy snagging a Gyarados in Pokemon Snap? Fear not, there's a tip for that too, showing you how to find this magnificent beast emerging from the waterfall. And for the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 fans, there's a guide to nailing that elusive Joey sculpture. Plus, don't forget to send in your own top tips for a chance to win some awesome Nintendo gear. It's a real testament to the ingenuity of the gaming community. This page is all about proving you're the best with your high scores. We've got the ultimate challenges this month, tackling Perfect Dark and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 GBA. Perfect Dark Special Agent, Attack Ship Fastest Time Challenge is calling you back to action, with a hint to look out for Elvis to make that alien easier to dispatch. Meanwhile, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 wants your highest score on the rooftops level, with a cheeky jab that the reviewer knows you're cheating. On the results page, Richard Corrigan is leading the pack in Phi 0 GBA with a lightning-fast time, and Michael Jones is shredding it in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 GBA with a massive score. There's also a rundown of other top players in those games, proving that official controllers and rumble packs await our league winners. This page is all about the Mario Kart Mega Challenge, and it looks like Nintendo is really trying to get those entries rolling in. We've got Donkey Kong and Luigi gracing the page, likely to entice us into the competition. They're asking for your best time on the Cheese Land circuit in Mario Kart 64, so get those entries in by November 9th, 2001 if you want a chance to be crowned Super Circuit champion. And remember, they want a photo or video to prove your time is legit. No funny business. Plus, there's a little tip about using boosts wisely to gain an edge. Good luck, racers! This page dives deep into Pokemon Stadium 2 with a comprehensive battle guide, covering all the essential Pokemon types and their effectiveness against one another. It's a must-have for any trainer looking to master the game. The article also highlights the crucial transfer pack, explaining how it allows you to bring your Game Boy adventures and Pokemon into the 3D world of N64, making your journey even more immersive. It's a fantastic breakdown for anyone wanting to get the absolute most out of their Pokemon Stadium 2 experience. This page is all about mastering your team composition and battle tactics in Pokémon Stadium 2. It guides you through choosing the right Pokémon, emphasizing that raw power isn't everything. You'll learn the importance of considering Pokémon types, their stats, and even their movesets for tactical advantage. The page also touches on how different training methods can affect a Pokémon's stats, even for the same species. There's a good bit of advice here for anyone looking to move beyond just picking their favorite creatures, and actually start winning some battles. This page is all about tackling the Stadium mode in Pokémon Stadium 2, offering a comprehensive guide to the 4 cups: Little, Poke, Prime, and the Rival. It breaks down each cup, detailing the level restrictions and the types of Pokémon you'll face. The Little Cup focuses on level 5 Pokémon, while the Poke Cup has a level cap of 55. The page provides valuable tips for each round, suggesting specific Pokémon types that will give you the advantage against your opponents. We see screenshots of various battles, showcasing Pokémon like Mankey, Igglybuff, and Elekid in action, highlighting the strategic depth required to succeed in this challenging tournament mode. It seems the developers really want you to put some thought into your team. This page plunges us into the thrilling Pokécup, specifically the Great Ball and Ultra Ball divisions. We're given a breakdown of the challenges ahead, with tips on which Pokémon types will give you the edge. For the Great Ball division, it's all about Psychic and Fighting types, with a nod to Houndour for that extra bite. Then, we shift to the Ultra Ball division, where Psychic Pokémon are apparently reliable, though we're told we won't even need them here, which is a bit of a curveball, isn't it? We're treated to some excellent screenshots of battles, showing off Pokémon like Heracross and Pidgey in action, and we get a good look at some of the trainers you'll be facing across 8 rounds. It looks like a proper test of your Pokémon prowess. This page delves into the Master Ball and Prime Cup tiers of Pokémon Stadium 2. For the Master Ball, we're advised to use Electric and Grass types initially, then switch to Fighting and Ground types for later rounds. We're shown specific opponents and recommended Pokémon types for each round, including facing Bellossom, Pidgeot, and Magmar. The Prime Cup, on the other hand, has no level limitations, allowing for level 100 Pokémon, a real test of your ultimate team. We get a glimpse of some formidable opponents like Lasteri, Black Belt Vang, and Cool Trainer Floria, with tips on using Electric, Fighting, and Ground types against them. Finally, the page teases the Rival Cup, promising a fierce battle against legendary Pokémon like Lugia, Hu, and Mewtwo, with strategies focusing on Electric, Rock, and Dark-type attacks to overcome Mewtwo. Pokémon Stadium 2 features 12 engaging mini-games, offering a fun diversion from stadium battles and potential rewards for Pokémon Gold and Silver players. These games test a variety of skills, from reaction time, Clear Cut, Eager Eevee, to strategy, Furret's Frolic, Barrier Ball. Highlights include navigating Golbat through a heart-collecting cave in Gusty Golbat, racing to Togepi through obstacles in Tumbling to Togepi, and carefully catching eggs in Egg Emergency while avoiding Voltorbs. Other games involve powering up Bulbs, Pichu's Power, guiding Tornadoes, Rollout, and delivering goods, Delivery. A preview reveals the next issue will return to White City with tips and a guide to defeating Gym Leader Chuck, promising essential information for dedicated players. This page is a cracking guide to Paper Mario, focusing on the early game. We kick off in Goomba Village, where Mario, fresh from being dumped by Bowser, needs to fix things up. The guide details how to get Goomba's hammer and sort out the broken balcony. Then, it's off to the bosses of Goomba Village. We're shown how to deal with the Goomba Bros, by focusing on the weaker blue one first and then tackling King Goomba by hitting the tree to stun him. Next up, we head to Toad Town, the game's main hub. The guide explains how to get a Bulburb from a hippie chick named Mint, and how to check the post office for new letters. Finally, on the way back from Star Summit, we're prepped for a fight with Magikoopa, advising a power jump to knock her off her broomstick. It's a solid start for anyone diving into the world of Paper Mario. This page is a fantastic guide to navigating the early stages of Paper Mario, specifically focusing on Toad Town Magicians and Koopa Village. It highlights characters like Maloovly, the fortune teller who offers advice for a price, and the grumpy but ultimately helpful Koopakoot. The guide breaks down key interactions, such as collecting star pieces from Maloovly and dealing with Koopakoot's requests, which lead to rewards like a silver coin for the playroom. There's also a section on Koopa Village, detailing how to deal with rampaging fuzzies and recover Koopa's shell. It's presented with clear visuals, showing Mario interacting with these characters in their respective environments. It's a really useful walkthrough for players wanting to get the most out of these early quests. This page is an excellent guide to tackling the Koopa Bros Fortress and then the subsequent Koopa Bros battles in Paper Mario. It details how to navigate the fortress, including finding switches, dealing with traps, and collecting useful items like the refund badge. The guide also covers the boss battles, offering strategies for defeating the Koopa Bros and their mechanical allies, emphasizing the use of Bombette and Mario's hammer. The visuals are spot on, showing Mario in action against familiar enemies. It's a solid walkthrough for players looking to conquer these challenging sections of the game. This page is a fantastic walkthrough for Paper Mario, guiding players back to Toad Town and then through the treacherous Mount Rugged to rescue the next star spirit. We're shown how to deal with junior troopers on the way back to town and the opening of the badge shop, which is always a welcome sight. Then, it's off to the mountains to find an egg and confront the challenges of Mount Rugged. The guide covers everything from finding hidden letters to defeating enemies, like the Sleepy Sheep and the infamous Buzzard. It's a must-read for anyone stuck on these sections. This page offers a brilliant guide to navigating the Dry Desert and the Dry Ruins in Paper Mario. We get two distinct sections, one for each location, with a series of numbered tips and screenshots. For the Dry Desert, it covers finding Mustafa, getting the Pulse Stone to locate the Dry Ruins, and even finding a spin attack badge. It seems like a pretty straightforward desert trek, though the mention of cacti barbs being poisonous does add a bit of peril. The Dry Ruins section is equally helpful, warning us that the enemies here are tougher, with those pesky cacti barbs being particularly nasty. It details how to find the Dry Ruins key, how to get the Spike Shield badge, and even offers advice on using Koopa and Bombette in combat. There's also a section on obtaining the Super Hammer, which sounds like a serious upgrade. Finally, it guides us through a boss fight against Tutankhamun, suggesting a strategy that involves using Bombette's attacks. All in all, a solid guide for tackling some of the game's earlier challenges. This page is packed with essential tips for Paper Mario players, covering two distinct areas, Sneaky Peach and Toad Town sewers. We learn how to navigate Peach's castle to rescue her, involving some stealthy moves around patrolling guards. Then, it guides us through Toad Town sewers, highlighting new areas accessible with the Super Hammer and the useful warp pipes for easier travel. The page also features a section on Forever Forest, a spooky maze where players need to follow clues to escape and reach Boo's mansion. It looks like a bit of a head-scratcher, but the visual guide should help you find your way through the eerie scenery and pick up helpful badges. Finally, Boo's mansion itself gets a spotlight. It seems this place is filled with boos, and the advice focuses on exploring the rooms, finding hidden items like the record key, and dealing with the mansion's ghostly inhabitants. There's even a hint about a next month preview, teasing a tropical island adventure with Yoshis, which sounds like a grand time. This page is all about your letters and what you have to say to the magazine, with Tim and Rich from the editorial team weighing in. We've got a reader championing Gladiator as a GameCube title, envisioning chariot racing and catapults, which sounds rather exciting. Another reader thinks Luigi's Mansion and Zelda deserve their own TV shows, with Mario himself as the host. A brilliant idea if you ask me. There's also a question about whether the GameCube uses mini-discs, which yes it does, and they pack a punch with information storage. Plus, we have a reader's take on Rogue Leader, praising the game but wishing it had more multiplayer action. Lastly, we see a very peculiar question about what games you'd take into Bowser's prison, and some rather amusing answers, including Zelda, Ocarina of Time to pass the time, and Conker's Bad Fur Day for its mad, rude and strange humor. This page features your emails, and it seems Nintendo's email service is all the rage. We've got a reader, Adam, championing the N64 bless his heart, and another, Angel, who's still hooked on Mario Party 2. Then there's the genius who thinks all old Nintendo games should be on one cartridge. A dream that. And who can forget the mum who doesn't want her son playing handhelds? We also see some strong opinions on the GameCube's online potential, and a reader dreaming of a new Mario and Zelda. Plus, a rather enthusiastic review of GT3 on the PlayStation 2, which, let's be honest, is pretty good but not quite Nintendo level. And don't miss the reader's hot take on what Nintendo should do to win over gamers. Release Ridge Racer for the GameCube. Honestly, the suggestions here are a mix of brilliant and bonkers. This page is a cracking report on the 2001 Pokémon Celebi Tour. It sounds like it was an absolute blast, with over 5,000 fans turning up at Toys R Us stores across the country. There were Pokémon Stadium 2 tournaments, Celebi downloads, and even life-size Pokémon characters to marvel at. The tour visited Bristol, Oldbury, Leeds, Dundee, and finally Brent Cross in London, with some lucky folks like Andrew Woodbridge bagging themselves a Pikachu 64 and a trophy. Plus, we get a glimpse of some face-painting antics, with one youngster sporting a rather impressive Pikachu design. What a way to celebrate Pokémon! This page is all about the Pokémon Celebitor and the fanatical fun it generated. We see young fans getting up close and personal with a giant Pikachu, showing off their Pokémon-themed temporary tattoos, don't worry mum, they're not real, and even posing with a rather intimidating full-body Lugia costume. There's a mention of battle stations where trainers hone their skills, and a recap of the tour's journey across the UK. The big news is that Chris Payne from Poole scooped a whopping £2,510 and a load of Pokémon goodies. It's a brilliant snapshot of the Pokémon craze at its peak. This page is a fantastic feature celebrating the release of Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace on DVD. It's a blagfest indeed, offering a chance to win one of 5 special 2-disc sets, packed with over 6 hours of footage, including trailers and documentaries. The magazine asks a rather simple sci-fi question to enter. Who does Anakin Skywalker grow up to become in the Star Wars films? With options ranging from Boba Fett to Darth Vader and Han Solo. The DVD itself boasts certified digital sound and picture quality, which is, of course, essential for experiencing the Force in all its glory. This page is a fantastic double giveaway. First up, we have a chance to win one of 5 Sonetti denim jackets, a rather stylish piece of streetwear. To get your hands on one, you just need to answer a simple question about what natural material denim is made from. If you're after more Sonetti style, their website is www.sonetti.com. Then, for the Pokémon fans, there are 5 copies of Pokémon 3, Spell of the Unknown to be won. You'll need to answer a question about the young orphan Ash tries to rescue in the movie. All entries need to be in by the 8th of November 2001. Sounds like a proper good deal. This page is a celebration of all things Resident Evil on the GameCube. It highlights the sheer volume of Resident Evil titles coming to the console, with a remake of the very first game promised, alongside other entries like Resident Evil 2, 3, Code Veronica, Resident Evil 0, and the brand new Resident Evil 4. The reviewer is clearly excited about the prospect of these zombie-infested adventures gracing the GameCube, praising the enhanced graphics and improved control that Nintendo's console will offer. It's all about the sheer brown-trousered excitement, a truly terrifying prospect for fans of survival horror. This page is a triumphant announcement for Resident Evil on GameCube, showcasing the epic remake of the original and hinting at a raft of other chilling entries like Resident Evil 4. The reviewer is absolutely buzzing, proclaiming the lighting effects are amazing and that we should all be wetting our pants in zombie-killing anticipation. Apparently these games will make the GameCube worth buying, which is high praise indeed. It's a true testament to the power of the GameCube to deliver some seriously terrifying moments. This page is dedicated to the utterly bonkers Crazy Taxi, a driving game that, let's be honest, doesn't come much crazier. It's a Seiya's launch title for the GameCube, boasting a pumping soundtrack and, as the headline tells us, over-the-top gameplay. The game's premise involves picking up passengers and getting them to their destinations as quickly as possible, which sounds simple enough, but apparently, it's all about the distinctive driving style and attitude of the cabbies. You've got your mini-games to test your skills, and the soundtrack features The Offspring, so you're guaranteed to be keeping the gas pedal jammed. The reviewer seems to think it's a real blast and a refreshing change from your typical driving games, and we can't argue with that. Who wouldn't want to be a madcap taxi driver, eh? This page dives into the world of WWF SmackDown. Road to WrestleMania for Game Boy Advance. It highlights the game's impressive roster of 24 WWF superstars and various match types like Exhibition, King of the Ring, and cage matches. The reviewer notes that the gameplay aims to reach the sublime levels of WWF No Mercy, suggesting a high standard for this handheld wrestling title. There's also a separate section about Tetris Worlds for Game Boy Advance, which is lauded for its enduring puzzle gameplay and the promise of new variations and multiplayer action. Finally, a product recall notice is included for a Wild Things branded Game Boy Advance charger. This page brings us news of The Simpsons Road Rage for the GameCube. It's a driving game that promises all the wit and humor we expect from The Simpsons, with over 25 characters to play as. The reviewer seems quite excited, stating that if they can capture the series' humor and bring Springfield to life, it could be a real racing winner. We also get a glimpse of NHL Hits 2002, Another GameCube title, which is described as an arcade-style ice hockey game aiming to deliver speed, excitement, and aggression, all with tip-top graphics and real NHL stars. Sounds like a good year for GameCube sports fans. This page is a full-page advert for ISS, International Superstar Soccer for the Game Boy Advance. It highlights top graphics, loads of teams, and link-up play. It also includes some song and film logos you can get for your phone. This page delves into the exciting world of Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars for the Game Boy Advance, a title that originally made waves on PC. It boasts an engrossing story, incredible graphics, and testing puzzles, promising a brain-bending adventure for players. We also get a glimpse of Phalanx, a side-scrolling space shooter that's set to inject some classic reaction-testing gameplay into the Game Boy Advance lineup. The reviewer seems impressed, noting the game's potential to rival classics like Reachup DX and Gradius, and is eagerly anticipating a full review next month. Sounds like quite the retro treat. This page is a vibrant collection of mobile content, featuring ringtones and graphics for Nokia, Motorola, and Sagem phones. We've got everything from Stan to Say My Name with associated codes, and a rather impressive selection of logos from pop culture icons like Madonna, Eminem, and even a rather fetching 100% Devil. It's a veritable smorgasbord of early 2000s mobile delights, perfect for personalizing your brick phone. There's also a substantial advert for Nintendo 64, with a huge focus on Dragon Ball Z content, including graphic novels, model kits, and games like Gundam Battle Assault and Tony Hawk's 2. Plus, we can't forget the Pokémon Crystal and Zelda Oracle of Ages and Season offerings for Game Boy Color. The whole page is a testament to the burgeoning mobile and gaming scene of the time. This page dives into the world of Game Boy Advance with a preview of ECKS vs. Sever, a first-person shooter that promises realistic weapons and an in-depth story, featuring 14 missions and 4 multiplayer games. The reviewer seems impressed, noting the intense gunplay and steady progression of enemies, with the jackhammer gun being a particular highlight. Then, we shift gears to the racing world with a look at Driven, a game based on the Sylvester Stallone movie. It's described as featuring seriously meaty motors, with great handling and performance, along with a zone mode to master. The reviewer mentions spectacular crashes and the benefit of slipstreaming, suggesting a fast-paced racing experience reminiscent of F1. This page is all about the upcoming Game Boy Advance, and it kicks off with a look at Tekken Advance. The reviewer is really impressed, saying the game engine uses clever tricks to make it feel like a 3D fighter, and it looks amazing. They also mention that 9 original Tekken characters are making the jump to GBA, with the possibility of hidden fighters too. The game info section confirms it's by Namco, a beat-em-up, with the release date still to be announced. Next up, we have Denki Blocks, a puzzle game where you have to maneuver colored blocks into certain shapes. It sounds like a proper brain melter, with the reviewer warning it'll make you tear your hair out, but in a good way of course. They also highlight a bearded guide who will help you become the puzzle master. There's also a bit of fast news to digest. Advance Wars has been cancelled, which is a real shame. Powerpuff Girls are coming to GBA with Mojo Jojo A Go Go, and it sounds like a decent platformer. Meanwhile, Witchway is also heading to GBA, promising plenty of platforming fun with Wendy. And finally, us gamers are getting their hands on GameCube thanks to some special events, and the delay of the Xbox is giving Nintendo a bit of breathing room. It's all happening in the world of gaming. This page is all about the upcoming Wario Land 4 for the Game Boy Advance. It's shaping up to be a great-looking game, with Nintendo's Mr. Grumpy making his bad-tempered gameplay debut on the GBA. Wario can now die, which is a bit of a change from his previous invincibility, but apparently, it'll put him in a good mood. He'll be navigating over 20 levels to find a golden pyramid, and he'll gain new powers from defeated enemies, making for some varied gameplay with tricky puzzles. Following this, we get a look at No Rules, a skateboarding game with some serious attitude. It stars One-Eye Jack and his posse, who are battling against horrible alien slime. The game has a cool street look with graffiti-style backgrounds, and it's apparently not a patch on Tony Hawk's realistic style, but it might be for you if you prefer something a bit more outrageous. The reviewer notes that some crazy grinds are a must-have for any skateboarding game. This page is a fantastic preview of Breath of Fire for the Game Boy Advance, a massive adventure with a classic RPG feel that's a direct conversion of the very first game. We're told it boasts many enhancements, and the story, featuring Ryu and the Light Dragon Clan, sounds suitably epic with unexpected twists. The The screenshots showcase the game's vibrant, detailed sprites and turn-based combat, looking rather impressive for the GBA. It promises lots of strange creatures to battle and hints at some strategic squad management. Following this, we get a tantalizing glimpse of Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarder, showcasing some slick-looking snowboarding environments and gameplay. The screenshots highlight a time and score display, with one showing a successful FS270 revert. The text suggests the game is shaping up nicely and will feature hundreds of tricks to master, with the reviewer clearly impressed by its potential. This page is an absolute cracker. We've got the mighty Nintendo official magazine leading the charge with a preview of next month, and, as expected, it's all about the biggest and the best. They're promising the most games, the best tips, and of course, to be the first with all the news. Then, bam! The legendary Mario takes center stage, hinting at something big. Over on the right, they're giving away a free Harry Potter album and stickers, with the magical world of Hogwarts coming alive in their ace-free gift. The page also reviews Pikmin, calling it Miyamoto Magic on GameCube, and Harry Potter GBA, posing the crucial question, is the game as good as the books? Plus, they've got game guides and best cheats. A truly packed issue for any gamer worth their salt. This page is a vibrant celebration of all things Nintendo. We're treated to a glimpse of what's to come with the bold Party 3 headline, accompanied by a rather dapper Mario sporting an umbrella and a cascade of gold coins, clearly hinting at a major Mario title. You can expect the final N64 review, a smattering of fun minigames, and some gorgeous boards, alongside some multiplayer mayhem. Below that, we've got a look at the tips section, showcasing Pokémon Stadium 2 with a guide to trashing gym leaders, and Paper Mario, promising to help you finish Bowser and save Peach. To the right, the Game Boy Color is highlighted as the ultimate handheld magazine returns with all the best reviews, tips, and cheats. It's a real treat for any gamer. This page is a cracking advert for the Alliance and Leicester U18 cash card, offering a chance to win £1,000 or one of £80.50 prizes. Plus, you get 6 free issues of a top magazine, including Nintendo Official Magazine UK, when you open an account. You can get cash from 30,000 link machines and access your funds 24/7. It's all very convenient, especially if you're after those latest blockbuster games. This page is a fantastic advertisement for Special Reserve, offering a plethora of games for the Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Advance. You'll find everything from Pokémon Stadium and Conker's Bad Fur Day to Super Mario Advance and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Plus, there are accessories like the N64 Rumble Pack and Game Boy Advance accessories. It's a gamer's paradise with some truly unbelievable offers and a chance to win a Game Boy Advance every day. Don't miss out on these cracking deals. This page is a wonderfully quirky personal journal entry, brimming with what looks like a fantastical adventure. We've got a rather hairy, multi-mouthed creature drawn in a rather charming, if a bit manic, style. There's a mention of the Roan tree and its footprints, along with some amusing observations about the desert and a temple. It seems our intrepid explorer, Kit Scottescu, Kinnerday has stumbled upon a place filled with stony-faced statues and perhaps a bit of a mystery involving a hidden key. The whole page feels like a personal account of a bizarre and exciting expedition.